In 1987, the Honda Civic was significantly redesigned for model year 1988. The suspension had a radical reconfiguration with what Honda called double-wishbone suspension on all four corners, wheelbase was increased to 98.4 inches, and the body was redesigned with a lower hood line and more glass, giving less drag. Rear suspension, however, is more accurately described as multi-link trailing arm suspension, since the upper control arm only has a single anchor and there is tow control used on the main trailing arm. Japan. The base model of the fourth-generation Civic had a 1.2 LSOHC. This single carbureted engine was not available for the Japanese and American markets. In Japan, the base version received a 1.3 LSOHC single carbureted engine, thus equipped it was called either 23L or 23U. The 1.5 LSOHC engine came in a wide variety of models, dual-point injection, single carbureted and dual carbureted. Those engines were available in the Japanese market 25X and 25XT. The Japanese version of the Sporting C, initially the top version, featured a D16A8 per 91.6L16 VDOHC engine. But there was more to come, and in late 1989 the new top model of the hatchback was the new Sir, fitted with a 1.6-litre, 160 picoseconds at 7,600 rpm's B16A DOHC VTEC engine. This, the first B engine, marked the introduction of Honda's variable valve timing and electronic lift control technology, or VTEC. By providing two different camshaft profiles, a 1 for fuel economy, 1 for performance, the VTEC engines set a high revving, naturally aspirated precedent for future performance variants of the Honda Civic. With its lightweight, independent suspension and powerful engine, the car was well received globally, receiving a OE Golden Steering Wheel Award from the German newspaper Bild am Sonntag, and ranking first in France unregistered trademark SLA unregistered trademark Automobile Magazine 1989 survey on car quality and reliability. The European model, badged as a 1.6 IVT, used a slightly less powerful B16A1 engine, which had an 8,200 rpm's readline and made 150 horsepower, although it made the same 111 lb-ft of torque as the Japanese market B16. In Japan, automatic-equipped Sir Civics also received the lower-powered engine. The Wagon, known in Japan as the Civic Shuttle, continued, but the commercial-use Shuttle Pro was replaced by a dedicated commercial delivery van called the Honda Partner starting with model year 1996. North America, all United States vehicles were fuel-injected. In 1989 the Civic had a light facelift. Some things that changed were the front bumper design. The front corner lights no longer had the two screws on the outside, the gauge cluster cover shape slightly changed, taillight unit's design changed, side moldings became thinner, and most American Civics received automatic seat belts due to changes in federal highway safety law. The sedan and wagon featured powered automatic shoulder belts that retracted from the B-pillar to a position halfway down the A-pillar when the door was open, while the hatchback received a standard-style shoulder and lap belt mechanism that was attached to the door and was intended to remain buckled at all times. While this setup did satisfy the federal regulations, the front doors had to be opened very wide to allow access between the belt and the seat. Many Civic owners used the door-mounted belts just as they would pillar-mounted belts, buckling and unbuckling as necessary. Models available STD. The base model with the lowest price and lowest standard interior, instrumentation, engine output and transmission. It was only available as a hatchback. Engine was D15B116 VSOHC, with dual-port throttle body injection, 70 horsepower with restrictor on the tandem valve, and catalytic converter integrated into the exhaust manifold. Manual transmissions were 4-speed with cable-operated clutch. Automatic 4-speed transmission was also available. DX. Available as hatchback, sedan and wagon, this had cloth seats, optional power steering, optional rear wash wiper, optional clock, optional passenger door mirror and optional wheel covers. Engines were D15B216 VSOHC with slightly higher output 92 horsepower due to an improved profile on the inlet side of the single overhead cam and unrestricted tandem valve. Manual transmissions came as 5-speed with cable-operated clutch. Automatic transmission was available as an option. LX, available only as a sedan, this had a higher level interior with tachometer instrumentation, electric windows, electric door locks, electric door mirrors, clock and wheel covers as standard. Engines were D15B216 VSOHC, same as the DX, with 5-speed cable clutch transmission. 4-speed automatic transmission was optional. X, available only as a sedan for 1990 and 1991 model years, this was the top of the Civic line with the LX features, and a D16A616 VSOHC engine with 4-point injection. It also had upgraded brakes on the front with 10.3 inches discs versus the 9.5 on the STD, DX, LX and SI models. The 1991 had a higher geared steering rack, 3.1 turns lock-to-lock versus 4 for other and prior models. SI. Initially, the Civic C hatchback was absent from the lineup, with only the CRX-C offered for the 1988 model year. That changed, however, for 1989, and the Civic C hatchback was reintroduced, along with a 3-horsepower upgrade for the D16 engine across all C trims. This was the sportiest U.S. market Civic, only available as a hatchback. The engine fitted was the D16A616 valve SOHC with 4-point injection and output of 108 horsepower. It weighed in at 2,286 pounds, achieving a factory 0 at 60 miles per hour of 8.1 seconds. And a quarter-mile time of 16.2 at 82 miles per hour. The main standard features of the C trim were the power sunroof, moonroof, tachometer, passenger door mirror, color-matched bumpers, dash clock, larger exhaust, front and rear anti-roll bars, 14 inches steel wheels with covers, and slightly deeper bucket sport seats. There was no power steering and no automatic transmission available. Additional options were air conditioning and fog lights, as well as the different Honda genuine accessory alloy wheels. In other markets, more powerful D16A8 and D16A9 engines were used instead, which made 122 horsepower and 132 horsepower respectively. Compared to the previous generation, the Civic C saw an improvement in handling, in part due to the double wishbone suspension at all 4 corners and lower wind drag due to the sleeker body shape. As with all other trims, the Civic C received a slight visual upgrade in late 1989, featuring revised bumpers and tail lights. Due to the difference in engine output and modification potential between the American and JDM models, the second-generation C sparked a popular trend of engine swapping, where tuners would replace the D-Series power plant with a more powerful B-Series motor. Wagon. This was available as FWD and real-time 4WD. The RT4WD versions featured the MPFI D16A6 engine paired with either a 6-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic transmission. The FWD versions featured the DPFI D15B2 engine paired with a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission. RT4WD wagons had white steel wheels with matching center caps. This body style remained in production until February 21, 1996, when it was replaced by the Honda Althea and professional use Honda Partner, sold only in Japan. USDM weights all weights listed in this table are in lbs. Air conditioning added 49 pounds. Cargo capacity was an additional 100 pounds hatchback, 75 pounds sedan. Europe. For Europe the base model was the 1.3L model, which was not available in the USA and Japan. Next was a 1.4L SOHC straight-4 dual-core Verited engine that was available only in 1988 and 1989. 1.5 IGL and GLX models followed in 1990. The European 1.6 IGT and 1.6 I16 had a ZC-like 1.6L DOHC engine and produced 124 horsepower or 130 horsepower. In Europe the SO was called 1.6 IVT and had a similar B16A1 engine. These top models were equipped with a VTEC system. South Africa. In South Africa, it was sold under the Honda Ballade branding. Popularity. Despite its image as an economical vehicle, the fourth-generation hatchback became popular in near-stock SCCA autocross competition. The ED chassis dominated the street touring category, competing against the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Fourth-generation Civic hatchbacks became famous among Honda Civic enthusiasts due to their lightweight design and formidable suspension layout which outperformed later generations. References and notes. External links, civic4g.com